Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the BBSB broadcast. If you didn't hear me correctly, it is the BBSB broadcast. And this is episode 3 of our podcast/broadcast because you got the audio and the film. And today we have a very special guest. Her name is...
Hi, I'm Kendall Jackson, and I used to play basketball at Concordia University, Irvine, and I also played at Clovis West High School as well.
Round of applause.
Round of applause for our special guest. Round of applause. Thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate your time. And we want to jump right into the first segment that we have. So let's start with some check-ins. I want to ask how we're all doing, starting with you, Sel.
We'll start off. I've been great. It's been a great week. So school is over, so I have no more work as of right now. And just basketball, football, but summer's here, so we're going to have some fun. So I'm good. Do you know?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna start working. I'm working
nice.
Summer school for the high schoolers, so I'll be at one of our local high schools doing. It's instructional aid, so that's what I'm gonna be doing. And then while I'm still working at the restaurant, helping with basketball, all that kind of other stuff.
Oh, he's doing the same thing I was.
Same thing he's doing. Yeah, exactly. Kendall, how's your week going?
It's been pretty good. I just started at a new job. I work at this place called California Autism Center. So I'll be helping out with that. I've been training all week, so I've been a little tired. But I also help with Clovis West girls basketball team. I'm helping assist on that team now. And they have summer league, so I've been doing that. But it's been a pretty good week. I'm a little busy, but love to stay busy and with the community and active.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Ray?
Yeah, been good. Got my stitches out this week, so headed in the right direction for healing and recovery.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Well, let's hop right into our next segment, the vinyl of the week. And this week's vinyl, we have, drumroll, we have SZA's SOS. Now, let's start off with our special guest this week, and let's ask her what is her favorite song, and maybe say why, or even if you enjoy this artist as well.
For me, I would definitely pick Special off of this album. I've seen her in person live last year. She's amazing. Even better in person. Sings amazing. Special is just, if you've listened to it, super good. It just tells a great story, Everybody, sometimes a little down, but listen to that, you realize that, no one's really that different. Everyone has, insecurities and all of that. And, everyone wishes that they were more special, but in someone else's eyes, you really are. So, yeah.
There you go.
Appreciate that story. I'd have to go with Open Arms, I'm not going to lie. Like Kendall said, you get in your feels, you got to get in touch with a little feminine side, Nah, I was messing with Nah, but, just like to listen to songs that have stories, and I feel like vocalists evoke those emotions sometimes, and it's really good to appreciate that side of music instead of just the hard drums and, rapping and stuff sometimes. So, yeah, that's my favorite song of this album. Dino?
Yeah, I'm a very basic guy, so my favorite song is Snooze. Yeah, you want to hold it? Sounds good. My favorite song is Snooze. It's just a very classic. I bet you everybody who's watching this has listened to that song. If you haven't, just go listen to it, or else you're missing out. Marcel?
Mine is Kill Bill.
Straight to it.
I just love it. I love SZA. I love her. I love Snooze. I love Gone Girl. I love it all. So, yeah.
You love SZA too?
Huh?
You love SZA too?
Love SZA. But yeah, that's our vinyl of the week.
So we have the special opportunity to interview Kendall here, former Clovis West alum and Concordia Irvine alum. Thank you again for coming on. The first question we want to ask you is, describe your personal successes. At Clovis West, you guys have an amazing tradition, an amazing culture of success. So we want to hear a little bit about, what that looked like on the daily, what it took to get there, but also speak on your personal successes and, things that matter to you in those moments of being on the top of the world, but even the little wins as well. Whatever you want to take it. Yeah.
I'll start from the beginning. I mean, you guys all went to West, so you guys saw our practices, saw your guys' practices equally challenging at times.
For sure.
We both have very competitive coaches that want to win, but also push us to our hardest at all times, which we also learn to love and respect at a young age. I mean, you start playing for these coaches at 13, 14. I mean, they have those little hoopster programs, which also build you into like the player and mold you into who you want to be. I know personally it was definitely a very upward battle. I mean, I've known Rias for a long time too, and like we played for, I mean, even Marcel, we played for Swoosh together, which is like a little program that
Swoosh, man.
Nice.
that his parents got going on.
The legend.
Yeah.
Swoosh
You
Elite.
know, if you know that one.
Shout out
yeah.
Swoosh Elite.
Swoosh Elite.
Shout out OG.
But like, I mean, we started there, and you start with Chaos, which is like the Clovis West little AAU program that got going. You play with the same group of girls. Growing up, I've known these people since I was like in 4th grade, and I still talk to them now.
Yeah.
But it was very like nerve-wracking going into my freshman year because I was on like the bubble of not knowing if I was going to make varsity or not. And I basically, when I tried out, I ended up being like basically the last person almost to be let onto the team, which was like super stressful. Tryout call-ins were like 2 hours long.
Damn.
I was sitting there like, I was like the second to last person to get called in.
Dang.
And Nikki was after me. So I was like, am I getting taken or not? Because like Nikki's for sure going. But once I made the team, like the coaches talked to me and they told me like, you work really hard. And that's why we want you on the team, because you can grow. And so that's how I knew like that's like, not like what my worth was, because obviously as like a player you have more worth than like what you can provide for a team.
Yeah.
But like that's what you give to the team. That's why you made the team. So that's what I had to do. And so like freshman year, and like anybody that's ever been, because we have like black and gold team is what it's called. So black's the top team, which is like all the starters.
Yeah.
And then there's the gold team, which is like the freshmen and people that aren't as great yet. You know, they're good enough to be on varsity, but not good enough to play yet. And so like I was on that gold team, and we were playing against like Maddie Campbell, Ari, Nikki Tom, Champney Pulliam, all of those girls, and like I was like a 120 little freshman trying to like fight my way through it. It was definitely stressful and hard, and there was a lot of rough days, a lot of tears shed. You know, just stressed out. It's a lot of pressure sometimes. Like I knew I wasn't gonna play, so you have to switch your mindset of like I want to get better over like I'm just trying to have a success, like a big success. You're looking at those little successes, and so like I think that was a big deal. Of like I would never take it back of like what I did, because like a lot of people would have probably like transferred because they're like, oh, I'm not playing, or he's so hard on me. But like I took that as a learning experience to continue to grow, and like without that freshman year, I would not have been the player I am today. Like so much resilience that I learned from that, hard work, all of that. I mean, I just grew my IQ. I mean, I got to play against some of the top players in the state. I mean, like Coach Campbell's daughter went to USC. Like she was a great player. And just having those opportunities. I mean, they won state the year before like we went in. Like that's a great legacy to be able to carry in. And then it builds you. Like I didn't play that much my freshman and sophomore year, but it made me ready to play once I got to my junior year of my season. And like I didn't have any animosity towards Campbell for not playing as much, because like I knew like I worked hard, and like once I'm ready, he'll play me. So which was like a great mindset, which I feel like a lot of young basketball players need to have, because a lot of people want instant success, but if you're playing for a great program behind great girls, you're growing, and you get to learn from them every day, and it's just like sharpening like iron to iron, right? Like that metaphor, like you get to sharpen each other out, and you're like learning to grow, which is great. So like by the time my junior year came, like I felt a lot more ready than I would have versus like not having gone through all those tools. I mean, everyone knows, if any girls basketball players watch this, the box out drill, 3-on-2, that one. I ran 64 up and backs my freshman year. They continued practice while I was still running, because me and my partner couldn't get a rebound.
Hey, that's why it's
crazy.
That's why
There was no charges allowed in this drill. They're just grabbing it over you every time. I'm like boxing out, they're just grabbing it again.
A little freshman, a little short
I'm a little short freshman.
Oh, you're tough, because I would have walked. No way.
You thought about it, wanted to cry. You're like 20 up and backs in, you're like, I got 40 more.
You really ran 64.
That's not the record. The record's like 80 plus.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Do you know who did it?
It's like some girls like 2 years ago.
That is crazy.
It's a really ruthless drill. It's a ruthless drill. It makes you
crazy.
learn though. I never ran 64 up and backs ever again. The most I ever had was like 10 after that.
A quick tangent. Let's talk about our horror stories of conditioning, because I feel like we've all had it rough here, man.
Oh my
You could bring in football too if you even have some of those.
some good
nothing was
ones
worse than
Nothing was than Walmart or
senior year. Oh my god. You remember we're doing the pyramids? We're doing the pyramid, so you're like started. So we're at like 3 liners, and then he goes, all right, we do a double liner, and he goes, okay, you guys are gonna have to do another one. in like a minute or something where he was done. Yeah. I was like, Coach, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. So I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just bad. It was ugly. Because it was a very embarrassing moment because you want to run with everybody else, but at the same time, your body's telling you like, you better not run.
Something's giving out if you would have ran that extra.
Oh my God, I would have died.
You want to talk about our 10-liner day, or were you there for that?
For which one? There's a lot of.
Yeah, you could talk about any 10-liner day, bro.
There.
One of the worst ones you've seen.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have to. Yeah, because I didn't have to. I wasn't a player, so it's like from my perspective, it was horrible. I felt bad for everybody.
This dude was giving us no time.
I was though. You can't say. Sell, don't do that.
No, bro.
That switch a little.
You want to talk about what a 10-liner day is?
Yeah. For the audience who doesn't know, the 10-liner day is basically let's just say this: if you really get in trouble by our coach, like bad, you got yourself a 10-liner day. So you gotta basically try to get to 10 liners you got to complete. If you don't complete just one, then you got to redo it.
Explain a liner first because some people don't know.
A liner.
Oh, okay, liner. So you're going free throw line, back, half court back, other free throw line back, and then full court back. So you got to basically complete one of those and keep going up till 10. If you miss one, then you got to redo that one.
Yeah.
So sometimes 10 liners would turn into like, I don't know, how many have we done, like 40 or 50?
Dude, I haven't done 40 or 50.
Dude,
sometimes it'd be up there.
Yeah, because... Well, we got lucky enough to where sometimes the bigs get some leeway, but it depends on how coach was feeling that day. If he's in a happy mood,
I watched that one.
It's like
I watched that one. Yeah. I was like, oh, poor kid.
If he's in a good mood, it's like if you're sprinting through the lines, you're good. Yeah. But if he's in a bad mood, it's like if you don't make it, we're restarting the whole thing.
I remember we did. I remember Dowda. Dowda was.
He would dive from the free throw line to the.
Dowda actually follows us, so Dowda.
Yeah, Dowda. Shout out to you. But I remember even though we Wahlberg had like the little. He goes, "You still want Dowda? You still want Dowda?" We were him and London.
Yeah.
And we were like. Yeah, we still want Dowda.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you miss it or not. Like, we're still, like... We were still boys at that. Like, we're all, like... We played so many games together. We just went on so many trips together that's like... Yeah, we're still going to take him. Like, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Like, he's our guy.
Hey, shout out Dowda. He
was a champ.
Did track and field at the college he attended.
Yeah. Bro, Dowda was so cold. Bro, like... I think the system Wahlberg ran... Like, no discredit to him.
Yeah.
But it's so tough for a bunch of different guys to show their real skills. And that's kind of the system. It hurts you sometimes, but it's also like the point of being in a good system.
Yeah.
But I mean, Dowda was so nice.
Yeah,
he might have been the best pickup player I've ever seen. That dude was nice.
Double machine.
Oh my God.
Compare his game for the viewers. I'd say like a big baby dick. Nah.
Bro, he used to do this shit where he would like bump you and then wrap around.
Oh my God.
Like do it like reverse.
Yeah.
Bro, Jokic, I don't know.
The bump
was nice.
Yeah. No, he was tough. I'd say a horror story for running was like, I don't know if you're here, so because it might have been like spring or something. Or
football.
Yeah, or early like preseason, my bad. But Vance put the starters on one team, but he excluded like me and Jay Gidd. And I'm pretty sure Jay Gidd, if he's watching and tuned in, he'll remember this. But you know how we would track the losses of the drills?
Yeah.
We lost every single drill because it was like me, Jalen, and versus Cole, Preston. Like it was our junior year, so we lost every drill. We had 10 losses. And it wasn't just like 10 up and backs. You know how the pyramid thing.
Yeah.
Started up and back, double, triple, quadruple. And then we went from like double to like the very end double liners. And we had to make all 10. He didn't let us leave until we made all 10.
I was not.
And I remember just like everybody was just like Vance was smiling on the sideline and everybody was just dying like on their knees every time we got back, and he'd be like, get up off the ground. You're going again. And it was just one of the craziest moments ever. Like after that practice, we didn't even say any words to each other. Like we just went to the locker room and changed and like went home. There was nothing to be said after that. But well, let's go into our second question for you, Kendall.
Here.
Asked by you, Dino.
Yeah. So we want to know you can name as many as you want, or you can just name like the main one. But what is like your main struggle from transitioning from high school to college?
You could take
or if
it
there is
groups
one, who
or
knows?
life.
Yeah, life, school.
Yeah, either one.
School.
Dorm rooms, all that.
Dorm rooms.
I'll start with like, let's just to go like schedule wise first. I think it was a lot different. Like, you actually realize you have a lot more time than you actually had at like home.
Yeah.
Because like personally, like, and I know you guys know the struggle too. You guys had morning practices. But like for us, like I wouldn't get home until like 6 o'clock at night, and then after that, like I come home, I haven't even done any homework or showered or eaten yet. Then I have to talk to my parents, and they're like, they want to know how practice went, so then I gotta talk to them for a little bit. And then they're like, or Campbell wants us to watch film, so then I have to go watch film, and then it's like by that time you're like done by like 11, 12 o'clock at night sometimes, and you're like, wow, like I really didn't do anything. So like when you go to college, it's kind of weird because you do have like a lot more time, but like my freshman year was hard too though with like schedule wise because Concordia has 6 a.m. practices.
Jeez.
And like previously I'd never woken up that early. I'm not a morning person. I thought 8 a.m.s on Saturdays was hard. Like, and then I went to those 6 a.m.s and I was like, every day? Monday through Friday is criminal. And you're waking and like for everyone to know, like you're not waking up at 6 a.m. You're waking up at like 5 in the morning to get there. And so it's like that's a whole nother struggle. You're still going to school, you have study hall, mandatory study hall of like 2 hours a day. Like you have a lot going on. So I think that was a pretty big struggle because like I was like I like 8 hours to sleep personally to like function and be like a nice human. And so that's like that makes you go to bed at like 9 o'clock at night and you're just like at first you can't fall asleep. Then you get so exhausted that you're like out before then. You're like reading a book for homework and you're gone. But like that was definitely a hard struggle transitioning, learning how to like wake up every day, especially in the winter when you're like cuddled up in your blanket. Really hard. But I think another struggle was for me personally that year they pushed the women's college line back to the men's line. So then like that was a really huge jump for me because I went from shooting at the high school line my senior year to shooting to the men's college 3-point line.
Oh wow.
You guys can look at my stats. It was really bad that year.
And they even pushed the line back for the men's too, so it was like
it was
even
a really big
far
difference.
back.
And then like also like I hop shoot, which is like Clovis West is known for, and like that was a really hard transition because like you gotta jump a lot harder now. It's like you don't get as much power sometimes if you don't do the form correctly and all of that special stuff. But it was really hard. I mean, I mentally was really like struggling because like I was known to shoot and like I wasn't hitting my shots, so I felt like I was failing my team a lot of the time. It literally took me until like Christmas time to like hit my first 3 during season, and then after that I probably shot 40%, but on the season I probably shot like 23%. So like that was really hard for me. That was probably like one of my bigger struggles, like when I first transitioned into college. Yeah,
it's tough too because it's like, you know, those are the shots you gotta shoot and make. Like, you're like. It's a lose-lose. If you don't shoot it, you're getting yelled at. If you shoot it and you miss it, you're getting yelled at
again.
Well, I want to... that segues perfectly into our next question that we have for you. You know, you talk about the struggles of 6 a.m. practices and even the struggles before of, like, how hard you were pushed in high school and stuff. And we just kind of want to acknowledge, you know, everybody here, I guess. So you can speak on this. Dina, you can speak on this. But, you know, what sets your guys' mindsets apart? Not everybody is able to get thrusted into something like that and make it out on the other end and be successful in it. Not just make it through, but, you know, make a name for yourself and get playing time and eventually come out and be one of the like most important pieces on a team. So what sets you apart in terms of that mindset, or even like anybody who's influenced you in that way? We just want to ask you that.
The biggest thing I've seen, especially from transitioning from high school to college and like meeting a bunch of different people that obviously don't know what like Clovis West basketball even is about, and they're raised in different programs. A lot of people come from like they're the best player from the program, they get to do whatever they want. And so I think the biggest thing is like having humility and being able to take in like criticism. And so like I mean we were broken down to the fact that like you're taking it in, you have to take it in, you're getting taken it, you're receiving it from like 6 different coaches every single day. Like most people overload, they quit, they can't do it, they don't want to hear it from 6 different people all the time. So I think having humility and realizing like you're not right all the time, and being able to just accept criticism and say like, yes coach, I got you, I messed up, that's my fault, I think is a really big deal. Also just work ethic and just wanting to get better and like wanting to do the details and doing whatever, like sacrifice too, sacrificing yourself and like even your own stats. Like I mean I mean, point guard.
Yeah.
Point guard, we're not...
Point guard.
Yeah, no, yeah. Point guard, yeah.
I got you there.
Point guard.
All right. Please unput that.
Keep it in. You have to sacrifice a lot.
Yeah.
And, we're not looking for our shots first.
Yeah.
You're trying to create for others, and, even not just being a point guard, but as a Clovis West program, the one more pass is so important. And a lot of people, that's make or break in our success a lot of the times is being able to share the ball, because having the defense rotate more than 1 or 2 times on the court exhausts them and gets a easier open shot versus jacking up the first shot coming down. And I mean that's sacrifice in itself. Oh, I'm open a little bit, but this person's more open, so I'm gonna pass it to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really big deal, and a lot of people don't have that, and that mentality that I don't really care about myself and my personal accolades. I want success, and that's how we have 4 rings is because we sacrifice so much for the greater good of the team versus just me and myself. Because it's I mean, I could have drove this many times, this many things, but when I went on the court, especially my sophomore year, I played a little bit, and I was playing with Maddie. I knew my job in there was to run as hard as I fucking possibly could, run my ass off. For 2 to 3 minutes I'm in. If I did really good, then I got to play a little bit more, even though I was so tired. Because I was running everywhere like a chicken.
Sprinting up and
like a chicken with the head's cut off. That's how fast I was running.
In the front of the press.
Yeah, in the front of the press too. And he's like, run! Every second he's yelling at me. But that, or just shoot a 3, or literally all I'm doing as the 4 is throwing the ball in and then running down the court. Don't throw it to me again. Don't throw it to me. To my junior, senior year, get the ball to Nikki. She's the primary scorer. Get the ball to Toya, stuff like that. Just knowing how your team plays off each other, knowing these other girls are better shooters than me in the situation, I'm gonna one more to her. But also being able to recognize that I'm the better shooter than this girl, and making those IQ reads. So it's just I don't know. It's just that's a big difference. Sacrifice, hard work, humility is really sets people apart, because everyone can be a great player skill wise. Yeah. And not everyone's blessed with that either though. But what sets people apart is their hard work ethic. So yeah.
No, I agree 100%. I think that perspective of seeing all the chess pieces besides just yourself is really crucial, and your success, but everybody else's success too. It could transcend them to the next level. So I want you to speak a little bit about your multi-sport experience and how that what drove you to be able to do that, because that's a whole nother level of having to know 2 different sports and be perfect at 2 different sports with the Clovis West basketball, Vance Wahlberg, and football is your main sport, whatever you want to call it, but being really successful in that as well. So yeah. I
mean, I think for me, it was just me growing up and doing that. It was kind of easy going back and forth. We sucked in football, so it was towards the end. I can say that because our coach isn't there anymore.
Hard feeling.
But it was towards the end of the season. I would start being okay, basketball season's coming, so I'm ready for that a little bit. Yeah. But if we go to the struggles and talking about what made me different a little bit, it was just where I came up from. I think that's the biggest thing. Who raised me, and just growing up not to be weak-minded and give up easily. Now basketball, I was giving up on those liners. It's just I think it's a lot of it's just mindset. Yeah, it was that simple. I think multi-sport athletes get a lot of credit, but at the same time, I think it's kind of simple to do in a way. If you have that athletic ability, I think it's simple to do. I know being great at both things, that's kind of hard. I don't know if I was great at basketball, I was good, I was all right. I'll give myself that, but to be able to do both, I honestly don't think it was that hard.
Yeah. What about you? Do what made you continuously show up at 6 a.m. every day? Be a helper, be selfless in that.
Yeah.
What really?
I mean, it was always the goal at the end goal. So when my senior year came, I was gonna get a jersey. So that's what the main goal was. But then even freshman year was hard because you got to put up with Wahlberg's. Yeah, bro. And sometimes you just want to look at him and just say, screw you, or go stuff like that. There'd be sometimes where you want to There'd be sometimes where you want to go do that.
Speak your truth.
I'm speaking my truth. Speaking my truth. Yeah.
I mean, I did see him make you run because you messed up the clock once.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I was like, damn.
So then sometimes
you having the manager run too, man.
The
manager run
get on
too.
the
Yeah.
baseline.
Yeah, get on the baseline.
And then they start the clock for you too. 10 seconds.
No, I remember one time he made
That
me.
was lit. That
I remember
was
one
lit.
time he made me run because I couldn't grab a rebound over Luke Lowe. Like what?
Oh my god!
Like what? You're gonna have me go up against a 6'1" guard and to go grab a rebound who's way more athletic than me. I was 5'3" at the time. What do you want me to do?
Wow.
But no, it was. And honestly, it's another thing too is that like when we were talking about with mentality, and it's a lot of times just in one year and then out the other.
Yeah.
So, cause like you just gotta like forget about it. Freshman year, it was just so rough, and then I just had to start learning like who cares? Like he's just saying that because he's just all like worked up and all that kind of stuff. He just wants things done. So then if he says something like if he just tries to like put you down or whatever, it just goes one year out the other, and you gotta go get it done.
Yeah. So I think like a big theme is like not taking it personal. Then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'd say for me, it was just kind of like I guess the standard of like I feel like all of us can relate. Like there was never that thought of like, wow, I'm doing like, okay, when you put it back in perspective, it was a lot. But when you're going through it, it's like this has to be done, and it's like if it's not done, then we're letting ourselves down. Before we even let like our team down. So I think that really just drives each one of us successes in that aspect of like. Well, one, I don't want to let myself down. I want to do my best. So that means I have to put in all those extra shots, or I have to try my hardest every day at practice. I have to listen, be attentive. I have to know it's bigger than me, have that humility. Because some people do have that privilege of like, they walk in and they're just that dude, that girl, they just walk in and.
Must be nice.
Yeah. When you don't have that, you kind of have to, find your own role and excel in that. Yeah. So appreciate the insight from all you guys.
But Rice, I don't think like you get enough credit because when you were like the face of like not the face but you were the face of like every time Vance would say this is how we do like this is how we're gonna play Clovis West basketball, you're like the face of that. Right? So you kind of what's the word? You kind of
the brand, I guess.
Yeah, you kind of branded.
He set a standard.
Yeah, you.
And it was a high standard.
That's not the word, but you kind of.
You like resembled what their tradition and what he wanted out of, like Clovis West men's basketball program. So, you were what he wanted to build out of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like doing that, was that like pressure? Was that a lot of pressure, or was it just you being yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I actually like. I've thought about this before, and I never felt that it was like that wasn't me. I felt like it was just me being myself. Like I really cared about other people, and I wanted other people to succeed. Sometimes even before myself. Yeah. And it's not even in terms of like, I don't want to get my own shots. Like I'm scared to shoot, or like I'm scared to be the one to make the plays. It's more just like I feel like. When I put other people in the best position to succeed, like it benefits the team or it benefits even me like tenfold. And I just think that like it took a lot of like it was a lot of learning curve in terms of like you do have to learn how to like still to this day like manage yourself and who you are on top of like having that other side of pouring into others. But I'd say like there wasn't any pressure because it was just like kind of how I already think about the world and my outlook on life. Yeah, so it just kind of fit perfectly, honestly. That's why I really appreciate everything that Coach Wahlberg's taught, because it's like it kind of just went hand in hand with what I already believe in and how I already played growing up. So like it was just perfect situation of growing. Yeah.
Okay, so for our next question, Kendall, we wanted to know what's your biggest motivation or who's your biggest motivator in your life?
That's good. I'd say I have like obviously like somebody who motivates me, but also like a biggest like motivator. To be honest, I didn't even start off playing basketball. I was playing soccer, and that was like I thought that was like my life goal. Like I want to be a pro soccer women's player. And then like obviously like I eventually like fell in love with the basketball game. I met really great people. Those became like my best friends, still are today. But like I think a really big motivator. Obviously, I love to win. Like I love winning, but I hate to lose even more. So like I just want to be super successful. Like if anyone knows me, like I am a perfectionist to like the core, and like I want to be great at everything I do and win. So that's obviously like a good motivator, but I think the huge one was like I wanted to play college basketball, and also not put that pressure on my family to pay for my college.
Dang,
was a
awesome.
big deal.
That's awesome.
So I think I really wanted a scholarship, and obviously like for myself too, because like a lot of people don't know unless like you're in basketball, like or any sport, to be honest, like that you want to be great at and like make it to the collegiate level, is how many hours like these athletes put in behind the scenes. Like it's not just going to practice every day for 2.5 hours or plus, because I'm not gonna get into that, but 2.5 hours. Legal times, guys. And then like weights and then film, and that's all with the team. But like people don't know, like you're going to training, you're doing this on your own, like Egan stuff, you know what I mean? That was a different level, but that stuff, side stuff. Even just like watching film of yourself alone, like on the huddle and all of that stuff, and just like getting shots in. Even just like the mental battle behind it of like just always thinking about your game. How can I grow? How can I be better? Why did I mess this up? That's also a huge deal. But like just wanting to like be great and like have the payoff for like all the hard work that you've done, because like I didn't want to go through and like did all this hard work not to like play basketball in college, because like it's what I love, and that's also what I've worked so hard to become like great at. And so that was definitely like a motivator. And then obviously just like my parents always continued to like push me, and then like my brother too, like he looks up to me in that aspect, and like I want to set a great example for him too, because like obviously he wants to play at the college level too eventually. So being able to like show people like it's possible, like I'm the first person like really in like my little like immediate family to like play like a college sport too, so that's like a huge like motivator as well, to be able to do that first and like just make everyone proud. So I feel like that's pretty much some of the motivators and motivation for it.
You touched on it a little bit. How did you, like, I want to know, just from, you know, being a college athlete, how did you attack film? How did you watch that?
I would say, like, I know, like, I talked to a lot of my teammates. I love to watch film. I like to, like, look at, like, the X's and O's and really analyze everything. I'll rewatch the same clip, like, 4 to 5 times because, like, I just want to know. But, like, that's just the type of person I am. I'm really, like, tedious, and I, like, need to know what I did wrong in order to fix it. In high school, because we had like a huddle machine, which is just like a video thing that you can watch back and like watch your games, and then eventually they had it for practice too. And like some people would say this is a little crazy, but I'd watch my practices over like almost every practice, especially when I knew especially when I knew I messed up in something. And like I would send it, me and Campbell would go back and forth, like Coach Howard, some of the other assistants would like send me film of practice and like clips, and then be like, this is what happened, or like we would get an argument during practice, and like I had to be like, yes coach, okay, my bad, even though I wanted to argue because I want to be right. But like he would send me film later, or I would send him the clip later, and then we would talk about it, because I think it's really important, especially as a point guard, to be an extension of your coach. For sure. So you guys need to be on the same page, so like he needs to see what I saw, and like I need to see what he saw. And so like I mean I just attacked film as like, it's like one of your greatest tools that you can have, because you get to see yourself play from an outside perspective instead of just like what you see, because like you can't see a lot, like you really get tunnel vision when you play basketball. I mean great point guards shouldn't, or like great players in general shouldn't have tunnel vision, but like you do get it when you're playing, because there's so many things. I have to run this play, I have to see the post down here because they told me to hit them, this player wants a 3 that's wide open, like there's so many options. So it's like watching film really just like is so vital. And like sometimes I don't get the people that don't even like touch it, like even when you're watching like other people play, like because like how are you supposed to play a game and the coach told you to watch it and you still didn't watch the film of somebody else, like the other team, like how are you supposed to be mentally prepared and perform your best? And I think that's also with film, like Coach Campbell was like the best person I've ever seen break down film, like from college to high school, like his scouting reports to like the attention to detail. He clips so many games, he spent so many like hours of his own personal time, like people don't realize how much time he puts in behind the scenes. Like he's successful, but like the details are why he's so successful.
Shout out Greg.
I
was gonna say, I remember even you guys had like the little the papers in practice, and you had like the plays and all that kind of stuff too.
Like he's writing down all their
like
plays.
That's wild.
He's writing all their plays, like personnel, so like their left hand is this, but like also like what's their favorite move, like we practice it for a week straight. Like when I was freshman, sophomore, you're like, oh, you're this player, you're this player from Clovis North, and you're only her for this whole week. So it's like you become that player. Sometimes you play better that way too.
Like because that's so crazy, because you guys would know, like even knowing you're probably going to beat this team by like 60, but you still do that. I think that's incredible.
And that's why you're able to beat them by not like 20 or 30, but like you're blowing people out by 60, because you know their plays almost better than you know your own plays. Like that's what's also really crazy to me, is like how much, like if you gave Campbell a week to prepare for somebody, you're blowing them out. or like you're winning that game. Because the attention to detail was so critical. Like
that's respect.
We're calling it out from the sidelines. You're calling it out from like even on like the thing. Oh, you see that it's in a box set. You see it's in this set. Like oh, they're running this because this post player is right here, so it's gonna be for her. Like that's how like deep and like that's what Campbell would always say is that. You can't like you know how like you can play with like over a 2.0 like in grades wise academically, but on the court having a 2.0 understanding is not good enough to be a basketball player. IQ wise, you have to be an A student on the court too because basketball IQ is just as important or more important than like your skills at that point.
And I think some people do have it naturally. Like their first reaction is not even, it like transcends that film. Like their first reaction is to do the thing that's right on film, But having like both sides of that, like the read before the read, basically.
Like you know what's gonna happen, and then you make a read too because like I mean, let's just like shout out my girl Nikki Tom, love you girl, but she was like I didn't have the physical capabilities to do some of the things that she did, so like. I would have to know exactly, and that's why I watch film so hard because, like, athletically, like, I'm athletic, but not as athletically blessed as Nikki with her 5'10" body and wingspan. Like, I'm short, like, and so, like, her is, like we were saying, like, a read within the read. Like, she was able to know what the read was because, like, she already knew the play. But then she's also having the athletic ability and, like, IQ and, like, just already naturally ability to, like, also make a steal off of it, not just deny it and not then pass it to her man.
That's true,
So
the extra step, that's fire. So, you want to break down, like, what film was like for
God. So, the first, like, shout out Coach Pierre, bro. That's David Pierre's dad. My freshman year of high school was my first time actually watching film. So we played Liberty High School, our first game, right? And I'm at outside linebacker, and I'm playing outside linebacker, and I'm like, I just wanted to do it because of Caleb Kelly. You guys probably don't know that name. But I want to do that for him, right? And I just wanted to be like an outside linebacker. So that first game we're playing, and I just feel like I'm not going hard at all. Like I'm just like. I'm kind of like just doing me. It's kind of how I played in middle school, and I'm just like half-assing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really running to the ball. So like I think later that I want to say that Saturday morning. Oh my God. Or Friday morning because whatever. But that morning we watched film, and that was the first time I watched film. He just kept replaying the video, and I'm like, I swear to God, I started crying. It was a freshman year. I started crying.
That's so humbling.
And then we go out to the field, and I just vividly remember we're running, and I'm just full tears. Because never have I ever like experienced myself being like I just know that I can give more than that. Right. So just knowing, I think he helped me so much, like with film. So like going into college. When my coach was doing the same shit, I wasn't. I was ready for it.
So they really cook you like that one guy on Instagram who
they
puts the
cook.
clips
Oh my God!
like you gonna let man you like that? You gonna let him shove you to the ground, make you his little bro? Like
my D-line coach was a poly. If you know polys don't fuck it. Like they're they're cool, the coolest people you can meet, but they're real. Like they're just like they have no like privilege or anything. They have no filter. So they just come from the hardest areas of life. So like the little shit is like nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? So, oh my God, he would, and it wasn't really, appreciate him because he didn't really kill me, but like we would have walk-ons like in the room. And he'd be like, don't even know why you're here. And I'm talking about this is in fall ball. Like, we're not even in the season yet. And it's like they will just like it almost felt to a point, and I love him to death, but it almost felt to a point like he was trying to get them off the team. Like he was trying to make or break you. So, I mean, shit. I mean, those college film sessions were insane. And then you watch film, like just a breakdown. You would go, so after you work out early in the morning, you go into a coach's meeting, or like a group meeting, position meeting. And then you go watch film, and then after that you go to practice. Then you go watch film right after practice, right? And then you guys would like later or whatever, do homework, whatever. You come back like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You guys watch film again. Right. So you watch. Say we have a practice on Monday, and we're watching film from that practice on Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Then we have Tuesday practice, and then after practice we're watching Tuesday. So that you're always watching film. It's like nonstop. So I mean, I like Kendall was saying, film is huge. It really is. So that's great that she talked about that.
Dino, what about your experience? Being the person behind the camera.
Yeah, I was the filmer.
But I remember you had to go on solo missions and film. Yeah. I don't know if this is allowed. Whisper, but basically just having to go on the road by yourself, film. What did that experience look like, and even breaking it down sometimes, making sure the clips are done properly. How does that look like from your perspective?
It's a lot of pressure because you're knowing who's gonna be watching it, who's gonna be actually breaking it down.
Okay.
And since it's Vance, you know how he is. Exactly. So sometimes even throughout high school, I'll even go back and watch my own film just to make sure can I do something better? Is there something that I missed? And then different things like that. And then that kind of corresponds to even my senior year when I was playing, because I was always still in that mode of okay, let's watch film, let's see if I get. And then I'd see stuff, because even I remember we played Weston Ranch one game, and I finally got in, and after the game, my dad comes up to me and goes, "Why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep pump faking? You're right there. Just go up with it." I said, "Because on the film, they're all jumping when you pump fake. So you just go in and just throw it in."
That's cool.
That's why.
Cool.
So you gotta learn that.
Okay.
My dad thought I was he thought I was stupid for just doing that the whole time. Exactly. So I feel just me watching film, just critiquing myself, would even go into being a player, and then then actually watching film on the team, but still obviously I still have my role, so I'm still watching film and still critiquing and stuff like that. Just make sure everything's all good, everything's chill. Make sure y'all know what y'all watching. So what about you? How did college?
Yeah, I'd say my perspective on it is similar, but when things when I play, I don't know, starting from the bottom, when I play basketball, I kind of already have that mentality of what should I have done in this situation, right after the plays happen, it's damn, maybe I should have done that. Not even second guessing, but just trying to be perfect in that situation. So when mistakes happen, when I make a mistake or the team makes a mistake, I kind of already I don't even want to say know the answer, but I kind of already am trying to figure out what could have been done better. So then when I go and watch the actual film segment, it's good to have that mindset, because then it already picks back up. Okay, I know this was a area of growth, and then watching the film just completes it of okay, this is the right read to make because I knew something was faulty in that situation. And going back to earlier's question, so that you had the embodiment of that film actually has helped me get that growth mindset of there's always something better you could have done, and if it was perfect, then there's something better on the back end that not you're involved in, but something on the back end, so that's really helped having that growth mentality and combining it with going back and being X and O's heavy. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel I do we could both probably relate nerd out on the the sport of basketball, the X's and O's, the Timberwolves and the Nuggets series.
It's really nerdy, but
it's real nerdy, really but it's really it's really cool to just watch film holistically and see the different strategies that go behind it too, and combined with the math. We can get into it. It's real nerdy, but it's a fun process, and you just kind of have to fall in love with that process for sure. True. Yeah. All right, so the next question we got for you, Kendall, is you graduated this year. Yep. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So we're just wondering what's next for you. What's life currently looking like? How this past season go, and what are you transitioning into? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? We just kind of want to know what's next on your agenda.
Yeah. So as you said, I just graduated. I got my undergrad in psych. I did it in 3 years, which was kind of stressful.
Dang.
Playing college basketball, working, plus getting it done early, school. It was kind of crazy too. A little backstory is this year was a little harder for me, especially I hurt my back to start the season. Found out I have arthritis in it. Woo.
Dang, what?
Yeah.
How old are you?
20?
20, you got like a 60-year-old back?
Yeah, basically. Too many charges. Too many charges.
Damn, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Too many charges.
Running too hard, guys. That's what happens when you play a little hard. But,
that is crazy.
don't regret it. Yeah, so this year was a little rough. And it was also, like, very up and down with, like, playing time because I was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Literally almost, like, tore my ACL this year, too. It was scary.
Damn, injuries are the
Yeah,
worst.
it was.
Oh
my body was failing me this year.
Yeah.
He was not happy. That's what happens when you wake up at 6 a.m. all the time, too. Not a lot of recovery.
Yeah.
But, like, so I tried to push through that all season. I didn't play. Didn't appear in a few games, which was kind of hard, too, because, like, I went from my freshman year being six-man to sophomore year starting the whole year, and we almost won the championship for the Pac West.
Yeah.
And then this year, like, I didn't play, like, multiple games, like, go in, or I played, like, 1 minute and was expected to, like, do something when, like, I haven't even moved.
Yeah.
Like, go hit a 3. Oops, I airballed it.
Yeah.
Like.
No, if I may interject too, I feel like, you know, when you go through that, it's so tough for you because people don't know the full story.
Yeah,
and they look from the outside and they're like, oh, this person's just like, you know, a bum now, or like they're
like not good anymore.
Yeah, right. Like
they don't know what like
for lack of better words, but you know,
like she used to start and now she's like not good because these players are bad. They're like,
yeah,
there's always more to the story.
It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely really hard. So yeah, I ended up playing. We were like doing like a little 5-in, 5-out rotation. So I was getting like finally got to like 15 minutes a game, which was cool. You know, a little sad, but like got back up there. I was playing, turned the mindset of like let's just have fun because like a lot of people don't talk about like the mental health side behind basketball too, and the whole like your mood and like attitude for a lot of people is like determined based on how well you play. Yeah. Because like let me tell you, it is determined by that, which is sucks, but it's the truth. Yeah. And so, like, when I wasn't playing, like, it was really hard for me because, like, it's such a sport I worked so hard on. Like, I mean, I worked out with Rias all summer last year. Like, we were putting in the work all summer. And then, like, to come back and, like, get hurt the first week I came back and then...
That's tough,
and then not play. Like, it just makes you feel like I did all this work for nothing. Damn, you know what I mean? And so, like, it was really hard. And, like, also knowing that I was going to graduate this year, so I didn't know what my plan was going to be after was hard. And I was glad I got to finally play. And, like, I found, like... happiness outside of basketball, which I think is really important to do as well. Which like I think I struggled with before because like I didn't have something has to give, right? I told you I graduated in 3 years, so like school, basketball plus work, social life. Where is that? With a rare occasion you throw that in. So like I think what's really important too, like for people if they're watching, like to know like social life's really important and finding happiness outside of that and like getting a good group of people that can like relate to you and help like you grow that happiness outside of basketball, not just dependent on it. But yeah, so that junior season, like I ended up playing. It was cool. I found some happiness in it. We get to travel a lot, so I was just like, hey, I get these opportunities. Like I get to go to Hawaii. I get to do this. I get to go to the Bay, see some really cool people, meet some people. But then in the season, like I was kind of in this mentality too already. Like not like I want to transfer, but like I'm kind of at the end because I know I'm graduating already, so I'm like, do I want to play again? So I was like, do I want to keep playing? I still have another year of eligibility. And so, like, it was, like, a hard decision. Like, mid-season, I was kind of at that point where I was like, I'm not playing anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, it's just really hard. It was really hard mentally this year. And I was like, I want to be, like, a school psychologist, which is, like, what I'm moving on to next. And Concordia actually did have the program, and they just started it. But it's only 1 year in, too, so, like, remember that. It's only 1 year in. But, like, other places, like, at home, Fresno State and FPU, both have really renowned, great programs here. So I was like, I'm going to apply to Fresno State, and I'm going to apply to FPU and see what happens there. And, like, my mentality going into it was, like, if I get into Fresno State, I'm going. Just because it's a really great program. So then, like, season ended, bawled my eyes out because I thought like I'm done with basketball. Like I was just sad. We lost in the first game. It was just like not happy. I didn't even make a 3. Like that's what I'm known for. Like I didn't even make a 3. I was like I didn't even shoot a 3 to be honest with you. That's me. That's my bad. Didn't make a layup though. That's not known for me. But I got that field goal percentage. But yeah, efficiency. Probably shot like a quarter field like actual 2s compared to like my 3s in like my entire career. Like it's I don't shoot them. Like to pass the ball or shoot 3s. That's my MO. That's a scout. But yeah, so season ended and I was like took those 2 weeks off because first of all like my back doesn't hurt as bad as it did, but like it was still hurting. Just sore arthritis, it's always gonna hurt. So I took those 2 weeks off and I was like, wow, sleeping in's pretty nice. And then I found out I didn't get into Fresno State. And I was like, damn,
Yeah.
Like, what do I do now?
Yeah, shoot.
And so then, like, and, like, also, like, never base your worth off of, like, where you get into schools because, like,
Facts.
it's, like, hard and, like, there's just, like, they're looking for certain things sometimes and you don't have it. Like, I finished the top of my class in college. Like, I was the top psych, like, graduate.
In 3 years.
In 3
On
years.
top of being...
Yeah, so
sports,
it's, like, if you have that high of a GPA and they still don't take you, like, it's not just your GPA sometimes. They're looking for something else or whatever. But I didn't get in there, so then I was like, wow, what do I do now? I'm like, I might play again.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'm getting into FPU, and I'm like, Concordia is like a guaranteed in because like you already go there and it's like easy there to get in. So I was like, let me play postseason.
Yeah.
So I did postseason practices, but going into it knowing I might not play, so I just wanted to have fun with it. I was still trying. My coach was like, I don't know if I want to involve you in the leadership meeting because of this. And I was like, if I'm here, I'm committed. And, like, I'm here right now, so let me be a part of it. So, like, I went through the whole postseason. I found out the second to last day of postseason practice that I got into FPU.
Second to last day, damn.
So I was like, wow. And, like, that day I was so stressed. Like, I was, like, crying. Like, I was stressed out. So I know all my friends, like, my parents and then, like, some friends I trust, like, to help me with this decision because, like, it's, like, a big adult decision. Like, and
in one day.
Conclusion. Yeah, in one day I had to make a decision. I was like, oh my god, I'm so stressed.
Yeah.
No one knew. I was just chilling in my room for like all day, just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then like I ended up making that decision that day. Like I'm gonna go to FPU because that's the best decision for me and the best opportunities. Because school psychology is also a 3-year program.
Oh wow.
So it wasn't like I was just gonna go to Concordia for 1 more year and they're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
It was like I would go to Concordia and then have 2 more years after that and live at home.
Yeah.
So it's like what makes most sense for me and like my family who was going to help me pay for it too, and like it's just to go back home and like they're going to give me the best opportunity to get a job here and get my practicum and internship hours and all of that stuff because you want to be close to like the home site when you're doing all of that. But yeah, so then sad story too, I ended up playing that the last day with all the people and I didn't tell them because I didn't want them to feel sad because I just played that last practice with them, had some fun. I was like, damn, this is like my last time playing with all of them, which is kind of sad.
Bittersweet.
It was bittersweet because like I love those girls and like really like we grew together and all of that, but like I was like I have to go. So I'm done. I did maybe think about playing at FPU, but then didn't work out. So then I was like not using my eligibility, but luckily Campbell offered me an assistant job at West, and I was like I still love basketball, want to be involved in it. So that's what I'm doing now. So I took that opportunity. So I'm going to do that. This summer I'm working at an autism center to get my foot in of like understanding because like a school psychologist helps with like kids with autism, Down syndrome, even just any like learning disabilities.
Gotcha.
So just being able to like start at like an autism center helps me learn from like the bottom up, like with the kids that I'll have to deal with like on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's really great. So that's what I'm kind of doing right now. I'm helping with their summer league. I'm driving. I'm like, it's weird because like I'm driving the vans.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got a van right now parked in front of my house. I'm driving us to Stockton this week. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm the adult now, like driving these kids, and I'm only like 2 years old.
I couldn't even imagine that.
No, like I'm driving the van, and I'm just like, I'm like going to Arizona next week.
Oh shoot.
And he wants me to go, and I figured I could go today, so I'm driving 10 hours with these kids by myself. I'm stressed.
That's different.
Hey, what do y'all want to stop to get food?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be like. Hey, you guys want to buy me something? Like, we'll stop if you guys buy me a little snack.
That's crazy. I could not imagine.
Yeah, I feel like an adult.
Shoes.
I feel like an adult now. It's a really weird transition. Which is really cool because like you're learning and like moving on to a new chapter in life. Like I can literally feel myself like moving on to like the next season. Like Kendall Jackson season 4. Like so it feels like
the book, right?
Yeah, like literally. It's
Closing
funny.
the book,
It's really interesting. Which like I also have a fear of change, so it's like this was like really stressful because it's like really hard because like I'm home like permanently. Like this is not just a summer where I'm gonna go back to Irvine after. Like I'm here and like these are my people now. I gotta get used to like doing all of this like stuff. Find a social life now in Fresno. Like you know what I mean? Like all of that stuff. So yeah, that's kind of just like what I'm moving on to. 3 more years of school. That'll be interesting. You know. Hopefully still as successful as I was in college in my undergrad. A little scary, lots of papers. But yeah, so like that's like in the next 3 years what I'll be doing, still coaching with Wes during the school year, all of that, just trying to balance everything. But then after I graduate, hopefully with my master's degree, I want to hopefully work in this area and then get a job in school psych, hopefully in Clovis Unified. That'd be really nice. Pay well, makes really good coming out, and this like all the benefits and just being close to home. But in the future, I think I want to leave Fresno.
Hey, it's about 100 degrees right now.
Yeah, it's like 106 yesterday.
And we got like 3 months left of this.
Yeah,
so,
I'm like, I'm used to that Irvine weather still.
Yeah.
I'm used to that Irvine weather still. I've seen the good life down there.
Yeah.
It's really expensive though, so I need to accumulate some money before I move down there. And I need like a good reason to move down there, so we'll see.
Sure.
As life takes me, we'll figure out like what the next steps are. But like that's like the 5-year plan.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, to piggyback off of that, you talked a little bit about the fear of change, especially quickly. You know, it's 1 year in your life completely changes everything that you value, basically, like sports, friends, it all changes. I want each of us to kind of share like what identity is if we find ourselves so obsessed over a thing like a sport. So you too, you know, you've had to make that big decision of doing what's best for you. Dino, you know, you're going to college, figuring it out. What does it all look like to us? Whoever wants to start us off with the identity.
Do you want me to start first?
Please. Yeah.
Shoot, I was literally just thinking about this the other day because I've been getting a lot of people who have been like talking to me about like, oh man, you should come and like work here, or like, oh, you should come and like, hey, help me out, and you know, I got you, and like stuff like that, like a lot of job offers, and I'm just like, dude, I'm only 19, like. I just got out of high school like a couple years ago. Like, I'm still a teen,
still feel
bro.
young, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm just like, I'm like so stressed about it because I'm like, I don't want to have to make a decision right now, but at the same time, it's like, it could be life changing, and then it's like, it was just so much, and I was like at work thinking this while I'm working. I'm just like, this is so much. So I don't. It's just it's a lot, but you also gotta remember, like, especially if you're young too, like us, like. You got time, like to like figure out what you want to do. Like, don't get twisted. Like you'll figure it out for sure.
Yeah.
So what you?
Shoot. To this point, I still don't even know what I want to do. So that's like the scariest thing, because, like during that day I made that decision. Like you think to yourself, okay, I'm gonna go to school. After that, I'm gonna get a job, but I'm actually in that moment right now, and I have a job and everything, but it's not, you know, I don't know if it's what I really want to do. So I'm just in a spot right now where it's kind of like scary because I don't know for sure what I want to do, right? Like I can go down, like I can be a coach, or I can do something off of my communications major or whatever, but I don't know like exactly what I want to do. So I think when you talk about identity, it can be scary, but you kind of just have to trust who you are. Yeah. So, I mean, I know I'll, like down the road, I just go off what I'm best at, whatever. So, yeah. It can be tough.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say, you know, like when you obsess over something and it consumes your life, and just to immediately, like, this next year will be, you know, my 4th year, and I'll be graduating, and then like Kendall's going through right now, everything's gonna shift in a direction, and it's gonna be completely different. You know, a lot of my friends aren't from here, so like you said, like you're gonna say goodbye to them, and you don't know when you'll see them again. And these are like friendships that you would hope would last like a lifetime. So everything changes, but I kind of like what you said. So, you know, you remember who you are, and I think even like being obsessive in something has taught me so much of like I can put my same mentality that I have right now into anything. So there are those bigger picture goals that we have, like we want to, you know, eventually graduate, get a job, and you know, get a good career, start a family someday, those big picture things. But how it looks, I think, you know, who we are carries that every day with like we're really like our habits, and how our habits are shape our life. And I think, you know, my habits will hopefully set me up to reach those like big goals that I have. And so just being satisfied with like what it looks like, and not being too scared, like you said, everything will work out in the end if you just stay true to yourself. So bro, I think for sure.
I remember I called my D-line coach. So I'm making this decision. First I called my D-line coach. Right? He was like really cool about it. Yeah. Like he was kind of like, I understand, I get it, I know what you're going through, whatever. Because he had that make that same decision. But I talked to my head coach, and I was like, oh shit, I really don't want to make this call right now. Because I'm like you're like leaving a scholarship. Like you have like, not a lot of people get that opportunity. You're just leaving that. Right? So it's a huge decision to make. So I'm calling him, and I remember him talking, like, He's like, "What's up, sir? How you doing?"
Oh,
I was like,
you're like,
"Oh shit, I got it. Coach, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm gonna play next year, or whatever." And he just got like silent, like it just like so. And then he asked, "What are you gonna do? Like, what's your next steps?"
Yeah.
And I remember like I'm stuttering, like I really don't know. I just knew that football wasn't next for me.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just, I don't know. That's crazy. It's crazy to think about.
For sure. Yeah. Kendall, I know you already touched about identity and change, especially how sporadic and quickly it may be. But what's something that's like helped you not be so scared, or just stay level-headed throughout this whole process? Or something that you may have learned going through this adversity in your life currently.
Something that kind of kept me like level, because obviously like it's scary, and like growing up is scary. Like we're adults, like we're becoming adults. Like it's real. And something that helped is just obviously having like my family support. And I mean, not like they weren't like, my parents weren't blessed with the opportunity to like have someone like, live at home. Like they moved out immediately after high school and like all of that stuff. So it really is like, people don't realize the blessing to have parents that are able to like provide for you in that sense. So like I always knew whatever decision I made, like my parents would be behind me. Would they be happy with certain ones? But like they'd be behind me no matter what. They would give me a rough time about it. But that was pretty big deal. Also just knowing like every like decision you make is for a reason, and I think that like every time we make a decision, like it evolves in like the way that our outlook's going to become, and like something happens to you for a reason to grow and like make you more prepared later in life. And so I think that's how I was kind of looking at it, and like all these changes are for a reason, and like if it's happening to me, that means like you're strong enough to take it on and really like grow from it. And like, I mean, like people don't throw like challenges at you that they don't think you can handle. And I think, and even if it is hard for you, like eventually like you have that fortitude to grow and learn from it and like push through. So I think that's a pretty huge deal. But also something that I learned from it was just that like, again, like you are just like, everybody's just continuing to like grow and become stronger, and that I realized that like I'm not just like, my identity is not just basketball. Obviously like I love basketball and I still want to be a part of it and I want it to be a piece of it, but like I'm a bigger person than just basketball. I think that's really important. Like I'm bigger than just an athlete. Like I'm not just a student athlete, like, because I mean that's what you're known as, especially like when you're playing on like a college campus. Like you're just an athlete. Like no, I'm more than that. Like I'm more of a person than that. And so like I think that's just something like I've kind of learned from it too, is like I can become a more whole person now. I think that's what I've really like taken from like the positive aspects of like being done with college basketball, is like I can actually become like a person. Like I can become like something outside of it and learn like when people ask me my hobbies are, I'm like, I don't really have hobbies. Like I play basketball. Like tell me a cool fact about you. I go to Hawaii every year for basketball. Like I don't know. So it's like, it's cool to like be able to grow as a person, have like a bigger social life. I feel like I missed out on like a lot of things in my life because of basketball, which I like would never take back though, because like it's made me the person I am today. Like people don't realize like how many life lessons you learn from basketball. Like it really like shaped me and molded me and like molded us all into the person that we are. Like all of those hard tolling times, and also the fun moments. Like you have so much fun with basketball. Like I would never regret that. Like I've made so many great friends and memories from it. It's just like amazing. But yeah, just being able to become a person, like a more whole person. Who I'm gonna become. It's scary to be like, who am I gonna become in the future? But like, also we're so young. Like, I panic about it all the time because I'm like, I'm 20, but like I forget I'm 20, and I'm like, because I graduated already. I'm like, like what am I gonna do with my life? Like, what's my future gonna look like? You start thinking about like, where am I gonna live? How much money am I gonna have? Am I gonna have a family? Like, what am I gonna get? Like, you know what I mean? Who's gonna be that? Like, you start panicking about stuff like that. You're like, oh my gosh. But it's just like, sometimes you just gotta like relax. I'm like, this is like my opportunity to like be a person, just like enjoy it on my own. So I think that's just like something I've really like loved, and like I can actually grow my identity in a different aspect, and we're always continuing to grow.
No, that's awesome. I'd say like, like you just said, those predisposed biases are shaped so much by our environment, and that shapes like how people think of us, but it also shapes how we think of ourselves. And I think it's really like healthy to have that idea, like you said, where you drop those walls of like, this is who I am. And when you drop those walls, your capabilities are just like endless, and having that mindset of like, oh, well, I can do it if I put my mind to it. Like everything that I've gone through has been for me to be who I am today. And like it's basically like self-love, you know, like loving yourself, and then eventually you can decide what you want to do. So yeah, that's real deep.
Let's get it. Everybody, thank you for listening to the BBSB broadcast. Once again, the BBSB broadcast. Everybody go check out the socials, the Instagram, the Twitter. Kendall, thank you for being on the show.
Yep,
we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Everybody, like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Later.